All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. We are going to talk about gold now with Quentin Mai. He is the CEO of West Point Gold. And Quentin, this is one of the stories everyone is talking about. Prices just continue to go through the roof. I spoke with you a few months ago, and you were not surprised per se by the value of gold going up, but I think we all have to be a little bit shocked by how much it's going up so quickly. Quentin, what's your take on the price right now? It closed at like 42.33 an ounce right now. We saw it blow through the $4,000 an ounce predictions. Where do we go from here, and what's your reaction to what we've seen over the past year or so?
Well, the funny thing is now that we're having this kind of move in gold, it's been 20 plus years in the making. That's actually finally getting the legs under it. And the long-term drivers of gold are all very much in focus and support for gold to continue to appreciate. I myself, when we spoke, I would have myself thinking 4,000 might have been a near-term kind of cap on the price of gold. Obviously, that wasn't any kind of a stop, and quite honestly, none of us could have foreseen the moves on the administration now to essentially hold China accountable for trade of critical metals, which is something that's a long, long overdue issue that needs to be dealt with. Is that for far too long, America's been far too reliant on unreliable sources for critical metals. And the administration is actually trying to address that. Gold is being caught up in part of that, but for the most part, I really think this is only the beginning of gold ascension as a wealth preservation asset, and it's being recognized now as such. And so I think a lot of years of built-up tension are now bearing fruit. And so a few weeks ago, I was thinking gold would stop at 4,000 and probably back up to 38 or so hundred. But I don't think 5,000 is out of the realm right now before the year end.
Before the year end, it's wild. Yeah, those predictions keep going higher and higher. Talk about the uncertainty. So typically people are driven to gold in times of uncertainty, inflation, concern about maybe the valuation of stocks, which are also at all-time highs. Sort of paint the picture for the psychology of what is having so many people pile into gold all at the same time.
Well, my perspective is that all roads lead to the US dollar when it comes to gold. And the value that's being assigned to it right now is what I would call wealth preservation. Because again, for a lot of years now, the 20 plus years I've been in the business, it's always been frowned upon in investments to hold gold because it's not a revenue producing asset. It doesn't produce dividends or what have you. But when you see the US dollar lose more than 11, 12% to other major currencies, how do you protect that? You buy gold because the US dollar is how gold is valued around the world. And if you're a US person saying, okay, my dollars are dropping globally, what do I do? Do I trust other currencies, or do I do something as an alternative asset, which the administration has gone to great lengths to, and I quote, democratize an alternative asset, with just several months ago allowing physical gold to be held in 401ks. And the exact language of that policy was, we're trying to democratize alternative assets. If that's not a screaming advocate for gold, I don't know what is. So in February of 2026, you're going to be able to get physical gold in your 401ks. With $9 trillion of 401k, the people I talk to think it wouldn't be surprising to see 5% allocation to gold. And remembering, if your 401k is in US equities and those are dropping in value, what do you do to protect those? You buy gold. And so 5% of that would be $500 billion worth of buying that would ostensibly come into gold.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, gold and Bitcoin sort of living side by side. All right, in our final, 30 seconds to a minute here, are there any warning signs in the future? What should you look out for gold? Because you did, I think, make an interesting point that, gold can sort of sit dormant for a long time. So I guess maybe for someone who's concerned about what if I park my money in there and it sort of sits at this level for 10, 20 years. I know that's not your base case, but what would be the things to be looking out for if we were to see a slowdown in gold in the near future?
I have a hard time seeing a slowdown in gold because people think of the metal like oil, where if the price goes up and they want it down, they can flip a switch basically and increase supply. Gold is consistent and generally goes up at most 2% per year in supply. With this price move, there is no production that can be pushed into the demand. to satiate it. So you're talking about a question that to me doesn't seem even feasible right now, given like I don't think gold is going to stop right now. I don't think they're with all the long-term drivers, which is inflation, trade, interest rates that we see almost for certain are going to be coming down. That's 3 of the 6 drivers,
Yeah.
and those are all still very prevalent. So
Well, you are in the right business, Quentin. We know that then. Looking for Gold, CEO of West Point Gold. We appreciate you joining us. I love to talk about gold. It's always great talking.